Space is pretty cool. It's a big, dark, and empty place, and we'd love to launch stuff up there. As we launch stuff into space, we tend to leave behind parts of the spacecraft. Those parts become space debris. Space debris is a problem we need to focus on. These are man-made junk that are left in the orbit of the Earth. There are over 500,000 space debris that are currently tracked by NASA, and many more that are unaccounted for. That number will only get bigger as the years come by. They range from decommissioned satellites to small scraps of metal, but despite these different sizes, they're all very hazardous to the spacecraft we're still using. Satellites are a critical component of modern society. They are key for GPS tracking, phone calls, taking images of the Earth's surface, and the internet. Many debris travel roughly 20,000 miles per hour while in orbit. Because of that speed, a tiny piece of debris can cause a lot of damage. In fact, an 8.8 pound piece of debris can create the same impact as a car moving at 60 miles per hour. Spacecraft have to be cautious while in orbit. When a chunk of metal is headed their way, they enact evasive maneuvers, consuming fuel and energy in the process. This is an issue because the precious energy within the spacecraft that could go to its main function is instead diverted to its thrusters in order to not get hit. Spacecraft we are still using are not the only ones at the risk of collisions. Decommissioned spacecraft are prone to crashes due to their inability to maneuver around hazardous objects. Upon collisions, hundreds or thousands of newer, yet smaller pieces of debris are created. Earth's orbit only gets more and more clouded. However, do we really need space? Humans have lived for thousands of years without satellites. Early civilization didn't know the vast existence of space. They thought the sun, stars, and moons were gods watching over them. It has only been recent history that we have utilized space to our benefit. History has proved that we can live without satellites. We can't live without our planet, however. Global warming, deforestation, and unforeseen virus outbreaks pose more of a threat than the loss of access to space. If we fix these issues on our planet, we will not need to go to space as a solution from running away from our problems. We won't be able to worry about losing the internet if the Earth loses its ecosystem that keeps us alive. We have caused damage to this planet, so we need to make amends and help repair rather than continue focusing on ourselves. However, can we simply cut off space entirely? We need satellites. Our society and technology is too dependent on them for us to disregard them and let them get damaged by debris. Many of us are very reliant on the internet and GPS. Satellites provide internet access to areas that do not have internet cable. They are also a core part of GPS. Could you navigate a map without the guidance of GPS? If our orbit gets too clouded with junk, we won't be able to keep satellites in orbit. On top of that, space travel will become more and more difficult as junk accumulates in Earth's orbit. Space travel has brought many innovations that have benefited humanity. The unique challenges of space created situations where we had to adapt to new ways. Technologies developed to make extreme environments normal and habitable can make our normal and habitable planet better for everyone. For instance, improve water filtration. During the time everyone and their mama was excited for a space race, NASA realized that water filters at the time were too bulky or inefficient to use in space. NASA invented an effective water filtration system that simply shot negatively charged silver ions into bacteria-infected water, killing the bacteria and thus making the water drinkable. This technology was soon brought to the public. Cleaner water thus became easier to access on Earth thanks to innovations from traveling space. People do not realize how important satellites are in our society. They may think that they just float in space doing sciencey stuff like taking pictures of the Earth or of outer space. Rocket launches further our understanding of technology. If we were to clean up and maintain the orbit of our planet, we can build a clean and open foundation of a space age for our future generations. We need to include space debris as one of the main issues that our generation is tasked with fixing. So let me leave you all with this. Should we focus on space debris, or do we have more pressing issues on this planet?